I'm gonna take a pregnancy test. I'm not late on my period yet. I'm supposed to get my period tomorrow, but Aidan and I have not been very careful. I haven't been having like that many signs that I'm pregnant, but I've been a little bit crampy and I've noticed that my milk supply has dropped a little bit. I'm like 90% sure that it's gonna be like not pregnant, like I'm not pregnant, but kind of just want to take a test so that I know and I'm not like waiting for my period to come thinking that I'm pregnant. Aidan doesn't know that I bought any pregnancy tests, but I bought them like the other day when I went to Walmart, so let's do this. Kind of nervous. Let's see if it's still working. What? Oh my. I'm freaking pregnant. What? What the heck? Holy. There's no freaking way. I need to take another pregnancy test. You guys, I'm freaking pregnant. Oh my gosh. What the hell? This is not focusing. What? Holy shit. Holy shit. Aidan is in the other room. I literally have to tell him right now that I'm pregnant because we have family coming in like 30 minutes. But I have these two birthdays right here, and I'm gonna have Israel up here playing with them and call him in here, and we'll see what he says. But I'm so freaking nervous. Babe, can you come in here?
What's up?
Can you come look at this?
What? What? Anna? You're pregnant? You're pregnant.
I took them yesterday and I was freaking out.
Baby, mom's pregnant. You are gonna be a big brothers. What? You got two?
I told you that one time.
They're not fake?
No.
Mimi.
I literally told you that one time. I literally told you. So when I found out that I was pregnant, it was very unexpected, but I obviously knew that it could be a possibility. I kind of just randomly took a pregnancy test the day before my period, and I was like, you know what, I honestly could be pregnant. Like, Aidan and I have not been super careful. I was 1000% expecting for it to be negative, and when it came out positive, I was seriously in shock because it just wasn't a part of our plan. Like, we planned for Israel, we planned like what month we were gonna start trying. Like, I knew his possible like due date months, and they were like just gonna work out perfectly for us. We weren't gonna start trying for baby number 2 for a couple more months. It was just a huge shock, and I truly thought that I got a false positive,
Which
and
is
those
like
are
impossible.
really rare. Like, those are extremely rare. I just really didn't believe it, so I took like a million more tests. They all came out positive.
And when she says she took a million tests, literally a million. She told me like, with I think 2 or 3, and she had 2 or 3 or 4 others.
I would say that Aidan was a lot more excited than I was when I found out. As time went on and the more people we told that we were pregnant, the more excited I was getting. And like, I knew my estimated due date based off my last period, so we knew when we were gonna be due. We were thinking of everything. Yeah, we thought of our names. like first name, middle name, like everything. We had our boy name set in stone.
Last name.
Duh. We had our boy name set in stone, and we had a couple girl names that we were thinking of. So with this pregnancy, I found out I was pregnant at 3 weeks and 6 days, which is extremely early. It felt like an eternity before our first ultrasound appointment. We just dropped Means off at my friend Ashlyn's house.
For the first time ever.
He's only ever been watched by my mom, but because of COVID, I'm not allowed to bring anybody to ultrasounds except for the dad. We are headed to the ultrasound center because I'm not going with an OB this time. We have to go to like an actual like ultrasound imaging place to get my ultrasounds done. So that's where we're headed right now, and I'll have Aidan film it while we're in there. I'm so nervous. I'm nervous. I told Aidan that it's always nerve-wracking getting ultrasounds before you can feel the baby moving because you don't really know what's going on in there. It's just like you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know what you're gonna see, what you're gonna find. And just being able to feel the baby move is just reassurance that they're okay. Cute.
I pulled my nose out.
Don't. We're in here. I'm scared. I told her my last period was May 30th instead of April 30th because I was nervous. But Aidan's gonna record and hopefully we see good stuff. But I'm starting to get nervous and I have to pee so bad because you're supposed to have a full bladder, so. But what the heck, I'm supposed to do transvaginal, so what? I'm confused.
They said transvaginal if necessary.
Which I had transvaginal with Israel when I was 7'5".
Huh.
Oh, this computer's the death of me today. Oh, I think you have a retroverted uterus, which means I'm for sure gonna have to do transvaginal. Sorry. No, it's okay. But the good news is you'll get to go bathroom sooner, so it's not all bad news. Any spotting bleeding pain? This is just at that kind of issues for thinking early sudden. Well, see, I don't know if I ovulated late or what. I know that some I only have 3 periods. Yeah, I had that problem. I only have 3 periods, and none of them are like regular, so I didn't know. Right. Well, I hadn't had any between first and second, so I hear ya. But you got a positive pregnancy thing, so that's going on. There's definitely a gestational sac in there, and I'll do a measurement on that, which it'll give me an estimated gestational age, but it is not as accurate as crown rough length. So I'll do a crown rough length and use that for your dating if I see one. And usually third trimester crown rough length, so head to butt on baby is the most accurate for you. So I'll probably use that for you, but hopefully that's up to you. So based on the gestational sac, it's early or 6 days, that's somewhat, and that again is not as accurate. The crown, you don't see definitive fetal full. So you'll probably have to follow it up to see if you have
Well, it's kind of funny because this whole time I've had this weird feeling that this pregnancy wasn't real. And we didn't see anything in there. It's just a gestational sac, and I'm supposed to be 7 weeks, 4 days. And when I was pregnant with Israel, there was a whole baby in there with a heartbeat. And she said, according to my gestational sac, I'm supposed to be like 6 weeks, 5 days or something. So I'd be a whole week behind of what my calculations are. And there's still nothing in there. Like even at 6 weeks, 5 days or whatever, you would still see something super tiny in there. So basically, I don't think that this is a viable pregnancy or anything that's going to turn into an actual baby. It just sucks because I've had all of the symptoms. I felt nauseous. I was having cramping because my uterus was getting bigger. Literally everything under the sun I had, but there's nothing in there. And it's just weird because I've had this feeling the entire time that there was something wrong, but I just thought I was being dumb and that I was just like, whatever, you're just nervous for no reason. They didn't even give me pictures because there was nothing in there. She's like, oh, there's nothing really to send you, so I'm not gonna send you any pictures. So I texted my midwife. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last clip or not, but I texted her. I'm kind of waiting on a text from her to see what she says, but I wanted to take a pregnancy test just so I could see like how my HCG levels are, and it's like they're so high still, like that. So my HCG levels are still extremely high. Like, that is a very, very positive test. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this really sucks. Even though like we weren't trying and we weren't like gonna even start trying to have a baby for a couple months, it's still like, you know, I was pregnant and we were planning and I had a due date. We already met with my midwife and we told everyone was so excited. So it's just gonna be hard to deal with. So obviously keep you guys updated on everything and we'll see how it all plays out.
So with our first appointment, I never went to Israel's first. So First ultrasound, sorry. I didn't know what was to be expected or what everything looked like. I was not blissfully ignorant. That's the wrong.
We kind of were.
Yeah, kind of blissfully ignorant.
He was
I was like
just all happy,
super happy
the whole
looking at
ultrasound.
Like I didn't like know for sure, but I recognized that there wasn't like a little raspberry or poppy seed.
But you still didn't expect anything
on the screen. But I didn't expect anything to be wrong because I didn't have anything to like compare it to. And the whole time Kurin is sitting there knowing exactly what's going on, which is terrible. I
had this weird feeling the entire pregnancy leading up to the first ultrasound that something wasn't right. I took a million pregnancy tests. I kept taking them day after day, making sure that I really was pregnant. Like, it was almost like my intuition was telling me that something was off. And there was no other reason for me to believe that something was off because I was having all the symptoms. I was nausea, smells, like every pregnancy symptom under the sun. My heartburn, acid reflux came back, and every time Aidan and I would talk about going to the ultrasound,
she was super apprehensive, almost.
Yeah, I would be like,
or nervous.
I would tell him that I was scared and I was nervous.
Which is super unlike.
And I even talked about that in the clip, about how, oh, we don't know what we're gonna see. I just kept saying things like that, kind of like I already knew that something wasn't right. She ended up telling me that I had a twisted uterus. And I was like, okay, so maybe like the baby's kind of like hidden in the ultrasound. Like, it's hard to find the baby when you have a twisted uterus. And I was not told that with Israel, so I don't know if that's something that happened after birth, because I had a million ultrasounds with him. I was never told that.
This lady was like zipped right through it. Probably, Kurin was probably being ultrasounded for maybe a total of 10 minutes from start to finish, which alerted me a little bit. I was like, wow, that was really quick. She kept talking about, well, I'll get your expected due date or your date of contraception by the rump to crown length.
Crown to rump, if I see one.
Yeah, she had a couple of like slips of the tongue.
No, not slips, like she was just saying like there's no definitive fetal pull. Like, she said things like that, but because I told her I was still breastfeeding, she was like kind of chalking it up to like, oh yeah,
you could be really
you ovulated
early.
late, you're really early, you don't really know when you actually got pregnant. But for me, like, I knew the exact time that I got pregnant because we were not being careful. Like, I knew, I wrote it down. So there's no way, even if I did ovulate late, that I could be a week behind and there be no baby in there. Right after that ultrasound, I started like mourning the loss of, well, we're not gonna have a baby. This is ending in miscarriage. This is awful. Like, now I'm 1 in 4. Like, you always think that, you always know it's a possibility, but you don't really think that it's gonna be you. After that appointment, I kind of freaked out and wanted to get a second opinion by my OB office because I had switched to a midwife for this pregnancy. I wanted to do things a little bit different. But I was just so worried. I wanted a second opinion, so I called my OB and they got me in about 6 days later. Between those appointments, in those 6 days, I started reading all these blog posts about how people were misdiagnosed with a miscarriage, that it was too early on, especially if you have a twisted uterus. Like, sometimes it's really hard to see the baby, so don't do anything yet. Don't take any medical interventions. The baby is just too small or not in the right like place yet for the ultrasound to pick it up. I honestly had so much hope that at our next appointment in 6 days at the OB office that we would see a baby, everything would be okay, we'd see the heartbeat, and it was just because my uterus was weird. Like, honestly, I was like so hopeful that everything was fine, especially because I hadn't started spotting. I was still having pregnancy symptoms, like nothing had changed. It's been almost a week since we last updated on kind of, I don't even know what's going on, but today we are at the OB because after everything happened with our last ultrasound, I kind of panicked a little bit and was like, I want to be seen by an OB and I want to just get a second opinion, and I'm going in for another ultrasound. I had the last ultrasound place send my scans over to my OB. Since I decided to go with the midwife this time, obviously they didn't have my scans, so had them send them over. They looked at them, basically told me it's kind of inconclusive and that they wanted me to come in for an ultrasound. So I'm supposed to be like 8 weeks, 3 days today. And basically I was told that I have a twisted uterus by the technician. So I'm just hoping that it's because of my twisted uterus that we weren't able to see anything, because that technician didn't really take her time. She kind of just was in and out and was like, oh, come back in 2 weeks and we'll check again. Unfortunately, Aidan cannot be with me this time because we have Israel and we don't have anyone to watch him today. So they're just gonna sit in the car while I go to this appointment, and I'm gonna FaceTime him. I have this ultrasound with my OB. I'm gonna talk to a doctor. I'm supposed to talk to the doctor that I don't like, but I'm praying someone else will come in. We're just pulling in and I have to remember where to even go. Do you remember what button I press?
You have to go down to the bottom here, don't you?
No.
Oh, that's right. That labor and delivery, you go to the bottom. It's like level 6, I think.
I'll have to read on the thing. But I'm going to go ahead and go. Hi, my love. I think Dad will probably get you. And I will update you guys later, depending on what happens. So when I was at the OB appointment, the ultrasound tech did not do transvaginal, she just did abdominal. It was literally 2 minutes. She didn't really talk to me, didn't say anything to me. I obviously knew that nothing had changed. She just quickly did the ultrasound and said, all right, I'm gonna put you in a room and your doctor will be there shortly. And I was really nervous to talk to this doctor because I didn't have a great experience with her at my 6-week checkup. She actually delivered Israel and she was great. Like, I don't care who delivers my baby as long as they do it properly. So I didn't have a problem with her then, but I just didn't care for the way she treated me at my 6-week appointment. But she came in and she was really kind, very understanding, sympathetic, obviously. And she kind of drew everything out for me, explained it, all the technical terms that I didn't really understand. She took the time to explain to me. She sat in there with me for a good amount of time and talked about my options and everything. And in that moment, it kind of just, it became more real that, okay, well, now there's no hope. Like, I don't have any more hope. After building all of that hope, thinking that everything was gonna be okay, reading those blog posts and everything, all of my hope kind of just vanished, and I knew that this was not going to end well. I established a relationship with my OB at that appointment just so that I could be taken care of if things go south, and I don't regret that at all. But I was still, you know, going through my midwife, and still am going through my midwife. So with my midwife, she ordered another ultrasound 2 weeks after my first appointment, just to confirm that there was no growth.
So we had ultrasounds like
I had
like
one every week, pretty much.
yeah, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
First one week where we were like suspicious, yet still hopeful. Our second one where we were like, okay, this is how it is. And our third one was really just confirmation to us.
And my midwife. So I have not updated you guys at all for a while, and my last appointment, my last ultrasound at the OB was June 30th, which was a little over a week ago, I would say. That ultrasound did not go well, just like the first one didn't go well, but I am in the parking lot right now at the ultrasound center for my midwife, just kind of getting like the third and final ultrasound to check everything out and basically confirm the diagnosis of miscarriage. Unfortunately, Aidan isn't with me right now. He is working. I dropped Israel off with my friend who's watching him. I'm kind of relieved that this is like the final ultrasound, I guess, so I can just be like done with it and move on, start the healing process, get my body back to normal, and all of that. Kind of sucks going to these ultrasounds and just like seeing that there's no baby there. Today I'm supposed to be 9 weeks 4 days, and we would definitely see, you know, a baby with a heartbeat and arms and legs moving around and all of that. So after this appointment, I'm going to talk to my midwife and kind of get some advice and see what she thinks we should do from here. I am going to get ready to go in now. So at this appointment, like Aidan said earlier, it was just kind of the confirmation for me and for my midwife to know that there was really nothing there. I was supposed to be 9 weeks in a couple of days. I was still measuring a week behind. There was still nothing in sight. I mean, it was kind of like the end of, okay, this is over with. Zero hope now that anything's gonna work out. I wanted to address things and kind of get them out there so I can move on. I think that a lot of people are gonna be like, well, why are you sharing this private information with the world? It's just to share our story, and I believe that, you know, God will use this story to help other women and help me help them walk through their circumstances, to help me be more empathetic towards loss, early loss, any type of loss, because you can't really have empathy towards a situation unless you've truly walked through it yourself. I'm very open about things on our channel and on our Instagram, and this is just going to be now another one of those topics that I am
more educated and open about.
More educated on, but also very passionate about as well, because now this is my path and this is my story. This is something that we have walked through with our family. I don't regret telling our family early about our pregnancy because we were able to celebrate that baby in a sense for a couple of weeks. Like even if it was just a couple of weeks, we still have that excitement and joy.
And it's like a support system.
Yeah.
Like we told them that Kurin was pregnant, and then obviously we had to tell them.
No, so it's not like you're not alone going through it, because I know a lot of people wait, and then if you do miscarry, it's like, it's hard, I guess, to go then and tell people, hey, I miscarried, you know, because they weren't with you throughout the entire process. It was just nice to have, and is nice to have, a lot of people praying for you and checking up on you and making sure that you're doing well, asking, you know, how they can help. And for me, I found comfort in asking people for prayer, knowing that they're praying for us and thinking about us through the situation. Like Aidan said, it's just a big support system. Obviously, I mean, I'm not healed.
We're still in it.
We're still grieving, and I will be.
It's not like we're
for
just
a long time
over it.
No.
But other people have been there, and other people are going to be there, and other people are currently here.
This is just another way too to reach out and make connections with other people who have walked the same path and the same journey, and get support from other people who have been through the same situation. That's kind of the best way to walk through healing, is to find others who have been there. So I will find people to help me heal, and then I will also get to be that person to help others heal as well on their journey.
So, like always, our Instagrams are open. I feel like it's kind of like a taboo subject for men to talk about things like this, because most men, when situations arise like this, close down, which I know for sure I have. It's just, it's a different perspective. Like we're just almost like a third wheel on the whole situation.
But you're still grieving the
loss of your child. So obviously any men can reach out to me on my Instagram. That's aidan.emmerich. If you have any questions or need support or prayer, always come to us. We will always be there for you guys.
We want to thank you for the support that we know we will receive throughout this journey. And also just give us grace during this time, especially with our YouTube channel we kind of put on hold.
Sorry for the
situation.
pause of content, but we were just taking time to be together with that. You guys are loved, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.